SCP-1936, is the New England town of Daleport. In the year 1997, the town fell victim to what is presumed to be a highly destructive event or a series of highly destructive events over the course of several days. During this time, the Foundation was unable to enter the town or observe any event that occurred therein due to the presence of a gaseous area centered on Daleport that covered the whole town. Due to the unknown status of Daleport's residents, manned and unmanned expeditions were made into the fog to determine the safety of entering it and its effect, and to facilitate possible recovery of civilians. These expeditions took place over the course of several days as resources arrived on location. Following the detainment of relevant witnesses and the establishment of a containment perimeter, an unmanned ground vehicle was sent into the fog and was equipped with atmospheric sampling sensors, closed, and open-circuit biological samples, including several rats to see the effect the fog has on biological life forms. The drone found the fog to be composed of sulfur, nitrogen, and carbon oxides. The concentration was found to be at a level where irritation occurs but would not present a lethal hazard. Biological samples were unaffected in any anomalous manner. Video recordings showed a smooth, wasteland-like landscape extending for kilometers past where the town should have ended. At this range, radio communication with the drone became degraded, and so it returned to the perimeter outside of the town. The Foundation now, knowing that the fog surrounding the city of Daleport to be safe to enter, sends 2 D-Class personnel into the fog wearing Level A gas-tight hazmat protective clothing and biotelemetry sensors aboard another unmanned ground vehicle. This time the drone is equipped with a higher wattage radio transceiver. The 2 are taken 1 kilometer into the fog before one of the D-Class was ordered to desuit. They reported no ill effects from exposure to the fog, aside from a slight difficulty in breathing. They continue moving forward, and noted how they were traveling through a flat, featureless terrain with nothing of significance happening. Unacceptable levels of radio interference began at 3 kilometers into the fog and were ordered to promptly return to the perimeter. The following audio log is a transcription of an attempted expedition by Mechanized Infantry Platoon Kilo. The platoon was assigned 6 Piranha Lab vehicles with mounted environmental analysis equipment. The log begins 3 kilometers into the fog.
Kilo Actual, this is Mike. Requesting update on your status, over.
Mike, this is Kilo Actual. We're still seeing the terrain is flat. SCP-1936-1 doesn't seem to have changed since we went in.
Kilo Actual, this is Bravo Actual. We can see upwards incline ahead.
This is Alpha Actual. We aren't seeing any incline. Checked your marked ones over there, Bravo?
Alpha, we're going down the incline right now.
Yeah, we see it. Following you down.
Kilo Platoon, this is Charlie Actual. Anyone else seeing the sky out there? We're getting a lot of red and blue patterns. Seems to be screwing up the radio a bit.
Yeah, we're from lot, Evo.
C and C. I think we're getting a bit of interference.
They said, amen, may that heretic burn in the pit. As in, I fucking hate him so much, I hope he dies a slow, painful death in a burning hole. Blah, I am Civil Sir, the Shivering Mist. I am the Ingift, currently covering the town of Daleport. While traversing Miftagu, your men have been attacked. Some have become Enga, but the rest are in safe hands. Evil has been summoned to this town by a society of Cleric. The worst shall be contained within me by Voltimer and Tharanak, but the town and its people will not remain unaffected. A great battle shall rage, and the victor must be decided. In time, those who can stop the Aegir will be here in time and see the Cleric Heavenlock. Please do not send any more soldiers into me, as I cannot keep them from the Shog. When all throd before the victors, I shall leave and the Shug will be yours again. I hope you shall survive it. Yaha.
The Foundation took this entity's advice and didn't send in any more soldiers. However, unmanned observations continued to operate but were unable to reach the town of Daleport. A large number of documents were retrieved from SCP-1936. These are assumed to have been written by the town's previous inhabitants. The following is a document recovered from a laptop within a residence in the southeastern quadrant of Daleport. Dear Diary. Today, Mr. Sticky's arm came out of the closet, not the window. It was longer than ever. But it was still smoky when I touched it, so my hand hurts. I told Mr. Sticky I didn't want any of his gross food today, and he got mad. He said it was vital to the incubation of the larva. I'm really hungry. So I ate the gross food even though it was green and squirmy. I don't like Mr. Sticky that much. The following phrase was found in multiple locations, predominantly in public toilets and stitched into the internal organs of mutated Daleport residents. I am sorry that I could not save you. Pangloss. This isn't the first mention of Pangloss within the SCP universe. Pangloss, in the Prime Dimension, is a fictional character from the satirical novel Candide, written by the French Enlightenment philosopher Voltaire. The novel was first published in 1759. Dr. Pangloss is an optimistic philosopher and the tutor of the protagonist, Candide. He is known for his unwavering optimism and his famous assertion that all is for the best in the best of all possible worlds. This philosophy parodies the optimistic rationalism of philosophers like Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz and others of that era, who believed that the world was created in a way that was optimal among all possible worlds. Another mention of Pangloss is a term Panglossian paradigm, coined by Stephen Jay Gould and Richard Lewontin in their 1979 paper, The Spandrels of San Marco and the Panglossian Paradigm, a critique of the adaptationist program. This term refers to a critique of some approaches in evolutionary biology that see every trait as an optimal adaptation, echoing the kind of naive optimism of Dr. Pangloss in believing everything is for the best. Pangloss in the SCP universe is depicted as an anomalous entity, typically characterized by its presence in historical and significant events. Unlike the Pangloss from Voltaire's Candide, the SCP version of Pangloss is not directly related to the themes of optimism or philosophy. He also shares some traits with the Greek Titan, Prometheus, the Titan who stole fire from the gods to give it to the humans. In many ways, it appears that Pangloss shares this same sentiment for humankind within the SCP universe. Next is a document recovered from a store in the southwestern quadrant of Daleport. Running out of canned fruit. But I guess that's the least of my worries. There was some more god-awful screaming and shit out there tonight. Screaming started off human. Think it was Lily from next door. Don't know what it sounded like by the end. Never heard anything that sounded like that. Thought I heard something trying to get in a while ago. It was Reverend Horshaw walking past my window again. Still ranting about God knows what. Managed to get a glimpse of him through the window, wished I hadn't. He had too many spaces in him. Gotta leave. I think one of the big guys is coming this way. I can hear drums outside. I am the voice, and the voice is me. Security cameras and other video devices continued to acquire footage while the fog was still present, giving us the following 3 documents. Firstly is video recovered from a ruined gas station's surveillance camera on the outskirts of Daleport. The cashier of the establishment is handing a customer a plastic bag. The window next to the 2 individuals smashes, and an unknown organism enters through the broken window. Its appearance is unclear, as its center is surrounded by multiple tentacle-like appendages. It is roughly the same height as an adult human. The customer attempts to flee, but the organism lashes out at the customer with a tentacle and is decapitated. Due to the impact of the tentacle, the head is propelled off-camera. The cashier hides behind the counter, but the organism moves itself over the counter and out of sight, presumably having landed on them. Blood and viscera consistently splatter on the wall above the counter for the next 30 seconds. What appears to be an elderly human wearing a bowler hat and waistcoat enters the establishment. The footage becomes mildly distorted when the individual enters the shot, and increases greatly when it becomes apparent that instead of a face, the individual has a triangle branded into their skin. The first organism moves back onto the counter, appearing to be wary of the individual. The distortion of the footage increases as several multi-jointed appendages burst from various points on the individual's body. The first organism and the individual engage in hostilities. The organism appears to be in a large degree of pain when touched by the individual and attempts to retreat out the store. The individual throws the organism out of the store through a wall, creating a large hole in it. The ceiling is seen bulging downwards when the footage ends. Next is video recovered from security cameras outside the Johnson Public Library facing Market Street. A speeding car is seen entering frame from the left, traveling along Main Street. The driver appears to lose control over the vehicle and crashes into a lamppost outside the library. As the lamppost is broken, it splits and buckles as a partially translucent spectral entity emerges from within the lamppost. The car's occupants leave the vehicle and begin running southwest along the street away from the entity. The entity gives chase, floating through the air. This goes on for several minutes, with the entity gaining little ground. Eventually, the entity stops giving chase and undergoes several changes in coloration. A blue-colored shockwave of unknown composition is then released from the entity and travels after the fleeing people. The shockwave passes over the people as they attempt to turn off the road, which causes the people to become transparent and fade. The following footage was pieced together from several partially surviving sources centered around the entrance to the town hall. The exterior town hall is shown having sustained damage, with the roof in a partial state of collapse. The front doors to the building are missing, replaced with a circular phenomenon, glowing the blue-violet end of the spectrum. A convoy of vehicles appears traveling towards town hall at speed. The convoy consists of dozens of civilian cars and trucks, as well as Foundation vehicles matching those sent on the manned exploration of the fog. A small number of humaniform robotic entities armed with firearms of unknown make and manufacture are seen running alongside the vehicles. As the vehicles approach the town hall, the civilians and the Foundation personnel disembark. The civilians move towards the circular phenomenon at the apparent urging of the robotic entities and Foundation personnel. A triradially symmetric organism, approximately 3 meters tall and covered in various technological items, is seen exiting the lead Foundation vehicle. The organism interacts with one of the devices and appears to undergo a series of controlled convulsions for several seconds. As the first civilians reach the circular phenomenon, a fractal-shaped sheet of motile skin jumps from the roof of the hall towards the crowd. Due to its low mass and high drag, this takes several seconds, during which the robots and Foundation personnel open fire on the skin sheet, doing little damage. As the sheet reaches the ground, it leaps towards the nearest civilian and wraps itself around the civilian's head. The triradially symmetric organism runs towards the two, rips the skin sheet off the civilian, throws it to the ground, and activates a flamethrower, severely charring the skin sheet and rendering it non-ambulatory. The organism then indicates to several nearby stunned civilians to enter the circular phenomenon. They do so, causing them to disappear from view. The robotic entities and Foundation personnel allow all civilians to enter before collapsing inside the circular phenomenon themselves. When only the radial organism remains, it burns the phrase "Pan Gloss grants you sanctuary" into the stonework above the town hall's entrance. The circular phenomenon remains in place as the organism leaves. The manifestation at Area 37 of 94 live civilians and of almost all of the missing Foundation personnel in the weeks following the dissipation of the fog is believed to be related to the above events. Individuals recovered so far have suffered memory loss regarding the events in Daleport, leading to no new information being gathered during debrief. While analyzing recovered documents to determine the cause of the fog's arrival, numerous references were made to a cult named the Victory Society. The following note was discovered in the jacket pocket of a recovered body. The head and left arm of the corpse had swollen to 3 times their regular size. The corpse is believed to be that of James Curtis, who was a member of a local religious organization known as the Victory Society. What we need: 2 trout, a bottle of milk, virginal blood. Where am I even meant to get that? To be mixed with the milk. He who walks beneath dreams is into that sort of thing, apparently. Assorted souls, willingly sold. Alliteration is big deal for that which waits inside the horizon. At least 200 beetles, lots of ice. If Harshaw thinks I'm doing the sculpture for this shivering mist thingy, he's got another think coming. 2 dead bodies have to have been dead for at least a year. Some human eyes, the blind ones meant to have thousands of sockets. I don't think a few eyes are going to do it for him. But oh well. Marky and Dan are getting the rest of the stuff. Laura too, I think. Harshaw just sits at home with his books, though. The fuck. July 22nd, 1990. I am returning to Daleport. Godfrey wished me luck as I left, but I know he hoped for my failure. He is too idealistic to believe in my cause. I took all the necessary books out of the library before I left, though. I suppose I could have just waited until I got home, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to find a proper way there, and I very much doubt Godfrey would assist me. Hard to get all the books around. Had some trouble with the Lost Wanderer Dasan Asad's 7th tome, but the container my contact gave me helped with the heat worries. Burnt my hand handling the thing, but still. You can't hope to do something like this without minor sacrifices. James is meeting me at the station, but he'll most likely be late. He always is. You have to work with what you've got, but it's disheartening there aren't some more respectable people interested in this venture. I worry about the next time. August 1st, 1990. I am a little shaken up. The priming ritual for the one of broken nines needed blood sacrifice. I had hoped anesthetic could be used, but the ritual didn't allow for that. The child is dead now, and it is done. We can't lose track of the goal. The child would thank me from the bottom of his heart if he knew why we were doing this. It's for the good of everybody. It's for the good of everybody. It's for the good of everybody. The victor shall walk from the rubbles of man and restore clarity to those who remain. I'm beginning to doubt James's devotion to our cause. August 13th, 1918. The voice of ages needed the blood of a heretic. I suppose it just means heretic in general. The voice wasn't picky about what kind of religion. James was not eager to contribute, but the fact that his blood worked proved that my suspicions were correct. The liar. He would have doomed us all in his selfishness. Things do not get easier, but my time is coming to an end. I have decided that we will not operate over the next 2 days. It will be a time for rest so we can prepare for what is to come. I will welcome my death, even if it is not quick. The world will lie still again on Monday, and it will thank us for it. Additional notes are found near the body of Reverend Harshaw. The first of these appears to be a transcript from a speech made by the Reverend, presumably to the members of the Victory Society. Brothers and sisters, we come together for the last time today. It has been an honor to work with you all. I could not have hoped for a better group with which to secure the future of mankind. From the dawn of time, terrible impossibilities have spawned from the darkness between stars, not hating life, simply being indifferent to it. We are as ants to these abominations, these demented gods. I use this term as this is what they are called in older texts. You will not find any biblical god here. Or perhaps you will. I do not know. The use of gods here is this specific form of creature born from the primordial chaos of this reality, not just a powerful being. Simply powerful beings do not reach the uncaring depths of cruelty and depravity that the gods do. They are so far above us that we are but insects. Accordingly, we shall look as such. In order to gain the forgiveness and favor of the gods, we must learn to know our place before them. Each of these things seeks dominion over the laws of reality itself, imposing the nature of their twisted existences upon stars and planets and people. The only answer to this threat? These gods must be destroyed, the slate wiped clean. We could not do this By no means, no. But we cannot allow these things to exist. A kingdom cannot have 1 billion kings. We cannot kill the gods. No, only a god can kill a god. We will bring them here and bind them. Bind them until their bloodlust is sated, until all but one is dead. Always a single god remains, the victor, who returns to whence they came as the only god remaining. But their primordial chaos eventually spawns more gods, more twisted angels and demons, and so it all comes to pass again. Our vigilance must be constant, for a new victor must be found again and again. We will leave a mark in creation, but it will fade. It will heal. Stand strong as our people have before. Stand strong as the near men in ancient cities did. Stand strong as we did at the gates of Sodom. Stand strong as we have always stood strong, because this must always be done. Fortune favors those who take bold steps. We shall become unified with inanimatum, entering the somnium aeternum. May we be forgiven. The following section was found in the back cover of Horshaw's journal. And the victor shall walk from the rubbles of man and bestow majesty to those who remain. From the red of my eyes I see them. Yes, I do, yes, I do, and they see me. I do all of it, right? And this is repayment? I do not fear the rubbles of man, they are. Our glory are our... I don't know what they are, I don't know what I am. My throat goes somewhere else. My throat goes somewhere else, and I do not like where it goes. In a war there is fire, but here the fire is cold and sideways and in the atoms themselves. In the minds even, because my head ache like a nut that is cracking because of the baby bird inside it. I must clean my wounds, but my hands are made of wire and cyanide. I can see them towering, and they are nothing. They are the shadow of the tip of a fingernails. Fingernail, no, 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 no. To quell the titans for fire, ice, and lighting, we must eat babies and live happily ever after. It's not right. They're meant to be dead now, not meant to be her. The victor shall walk from the rubbles of man, and others shall walk behind him. Next, we get video footage recovered from a camera found on a rooftop during an expedition near a church in the center of Daleport. Several entities of varying descriptions are visible, engaging in hostilities with each other. Daleport's church is visible in the background, as the density of SCP-1936-1 is reduced for unknown reasons. A large creature of irregular shape, which appears to be composed of large quantities of stone soil, and what is thought to be some form of fungi, appears several meters above the church. Camera begins shaking at this time. A sound akin to distorted whale song is audible. The creature is estimated to be 50 meters in height. A second entity manifests above the church. The entity has a crystalline structure, and a bright light is emanating from its central spire. A 15-second long screech is audible. Already manifested entities cease hostilities and quickly leave the area in a manner that suggests they are fleeing. What is presumed to be a third entity manifests, but camera distortion prevents an analysis of its appearance. A deep humming noise is audible for the duration of the footage, until it cuts out. Now let's summarize. The cultists, a part of the Victory Society, seem to be performing certain rituals to summon different gods to the city of Daleport to wage some sort of massive war. Apparently this needs to be done every few years to prevent too many gods from exercising at once and destroying life as we know it. The giant fog cloud surrounding the city was put in place as a way of containing the battle to just the city of Daleport and to prevent any outside interference. The SCP Foundation have essentially been spectators to all of this, as they were unable to even locate the city during the battle, but in all likelihood it's safe to consider that the Foundation probably approved of what the Victory Society was doing. And with that, this will conclude our briefing on SCP-1936. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking the video, and if you want to see more SCP videos like this one, subscribe with notifications on so that you never miss our future briefings.